What do we have here?
Hey YouTube, how's it going? It is the Hoff here, and I hope you guys like the new intro that I tried to tweak up, and hopefully it's not too long. Let me know in the comments down below. So, let's just jump right into this video talking about the things you should look out for when you're going to buy your next TV. So, if many of y'all didn't know, CES happened in January. That's when a lot of companies like to show off the latest and greatest tech, especially dealing with TVs. Now, the reason I'm going over this is because those TVs are coming out now. Around this time frame is when they decide to slowly drop out some of those TVs. And what's going to come about is the TVs from last year's models are going to get cheaper, and they're going to try to push them out for inventory reasons, plus the fact that people generally don't want a TV from last year when they're trying to keep up with the Joneses. And the people trying to keep up with the Joneses, you're also going to tune in because you're going to know what to look out for when you're buying that brand new TV in 2018. So here's the first thing. If you're getting any TV that's over 42 inches, it better be 4K. The amount of TVs out there that are over 42 inches that don't support 4K should be very minimum, and they're just not worth your time, as most content now is coming out in 4K that is not on cable. If it's not on cable, it's probably going to be 4K released now. You have Netflix, you have Amazon, YouTube content's coming out in 4K. They're making stuff in 4K for Hulu. So you have many different options when it comes to 4K. So that's the first thing you want, is to get a 4K TV. Now when you're buying that 4K TV, you want to make sure that it has HDCP 2.2. So it's going to be version 2.2 on HDCP. That's the protection for copywriting. That makes sure that the hardware inside is able to read the HD content off of the Ultra HD Blu-ray discs that are coming and out now, and that have been out for a little while. And so if it doesn't have that built into your TV, that new Xbox One X or One S is not going to be able to play your Blu-ray, your Ultra HD Blu-ray. And if you did not get one of those, but you got a Samsung, Panasonic, or any of the Sony players that play the Ultra HD Blu-ray, the 4K Blu-rays, it won't be able to play it if your TV supports 4K but doesn't have the HDCP 2.2 built in. So that's a key component. And you have to make sure that it is also in the component that you're using to play the Ultra HD Blu-ray disc, or the 4K Blu-ray if you want to call it that. And 9 times out of 10, if you're buying the 4K Blu-ray, you should already have the player, but there's many different players. But a more popular one I would suggest is, if you want to go on the cheaper side, the Xbox One X or One S is, I believe it should still be around the 180 to 200 price point, and that will play 4K Blu-ray or Ultra HD Blu-ray content from it. So that's the cheaper side. If you want to go more expensive side, then you have the Xbox One X. And both of those will be able to play the Xbox One games. So if you have kids, that's something for the kids. And then you as an adult will be able to have the ability to play the 4K content. And another good thing about those is they support Dolby Atmos sound. And what that basically is if you've ever been to the movie theaters and you've seen the commercial they show for Dolby Atmos before the movie starts, it sometimes has a baseball breaking through and you hear the shards of glass flying over your head. That is Dolby Atmos, because they have speakers built into the ceiling to give you that experience of sound all around you. The only sound we so far don't have yet is the sound coming below our feet. And I'm pretty sure somebody's already working on that. And I'm not sure what crazy name they'll come up with, but that's the only thing we don't have. So, first, make sure you have 4K, and make sure it does HDCP 2.2. The next thing is talking about HDR and what to look out for HDR. So it says HDR. That's high dynamic range. that provides the wide gambit of colors that you're going to need. But you want to make sure that it supports HDR10, as that's what is being more widely adopted as the HDR format to go with. Most of your Ultra HD Blu-ray or 4K Blu-ray is going to be in HDR10, and you're going to have a lot of different content coming in HDR10 as well, versus the other popular format of Dolby Vision, which is HDR but made by Dolby. And the reason I say go with HDR10 is because more content is produced using HDR10 for you to watch format versus the Dolby Vision. But if your TV, if you want both, just to make sure you have nothing to worry about, then you might want to stick with the LG branded TVs, as those typically support both. I know their OLED TVs will support both. Samsung will not. So if you do want to make sure that you have Dolby Vision supported, you want to stay clear of Samsung, because they have to pay a royalty fee to be able to have the Dolby Vision as part of their TVs to support it, and Samsung did not feel it necessary to have that. But Samsung has since went out and created their own version of HDR that's supposed to be on the same level, if not better, than the HDR10, which is HDR10 Plus. And they did this working with Panasonic, and Amazon has since said that their Prime Video, they're going to support that with some releases that do the HDR10 Plus. So if you already got a Samsung TV, or you're looking to get a specific Samsung TV for whatever reason over the LG, then you'll be able to have that. It should be a firmware update. Most of these content for HDR10 is a firmware update, so just validate that it supports the HDR10, and being able to support the Dolby Vision is a plus, but it doesn't have to be. And the best rated TVs, if you're looking for a specific rated TVs, is the OLED right now from LG. The picture quality is great. The lag input is great for gamers, so you don't have as much of a lag input when you're gaming, which is a really good thing that a lot of people don't tend to look at when you're gaming on console and TV. And they don't have as much of a blur when it comes to motion blur, because 4K content, unless you're spending an outrageous amount of money, upwards closer to the $6,000-$7,000 range, it's gonna be the 60 hertz, and you may have a little bit of blur you see, but it's not so bad when you're dealing with the OLED technology TVs. And the backlighting on the OLED for the black levels is superb. The blacks are about the blackest you can get, which is what you want when you're looking for your 4K TV panel. So there you have it. That is the biggest things you should be looking for when it comes to buying the 4K TVs now in 2018, and you want to be looking for the models that support those features. Supporting anything else is just a bonus. You're gonna see TVs, and I haven't seen what the price point of them yet is, but there's TVs coming out now that are gonna have the Alexa app built in, so you have all the features that the Amazon Echoes have. You're gonna have ones built in with the Google Assistant, so it's gonna do everything a Google Assistant can do. And you're gonna have TVs with many more built-in features, but the built-in features are only additional things that aren't necessary to get that great picture quality and viewing experience. The things that I've mentioned when it comes to the HDCP 2.2, the high dynamic range for the HDR10, and possibly if you want to go ahead and get the format for Dolby Vision, that is a nice addition to have both. And I know the LG OLEDs support both. And then making sure you have that 4K, because it's 2018, 4K content is out there, and if I'm not mistaken, the FCC is soon, within the next year or so, going to be finalizing what the format will be for accepting the 4K over television and satellite. And it looks like some of the TV makers are putting that in there now. And you have some news stations that are going with a format that seems to be the one the FCC is leaning towards. But that might be in a later video. And I'll have to do more research on what the final 4K will be for the television. I know there's some stations out there that are pushing some 4K, but it's generally dealing with a movie or dealing with Netflix provided through your cable company partnered with the Netflix brand. So that is everything dealing with that. And if you really want to go all out, you can go get a soundbar or a home theater system with Dolby Atmos, so you have everything, the great viewing experience as well as the great sound experience. I hope this was very informative, and I hope y'all like the intro and y'all liked how I tried to break it down in the layman's terms and not try to tell you exactly what to go for, and how I was talking about what each thing will benefit for you when buying this new TV that you're looking for. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to thumbs up if you like the video, and hopefully if you're watching you are a subscriber and you watch the entire video, as that always helps my channel and it will continue to grow with your help.